I think it's probably the hottest topic in natural language processing anyway, but you will see in a minute that we at Deepset approach from a bit a different angle than our friends from Curiosity do. Briefly about the company. What we do at Deepset is we are in fact on a mission to provide toolkits to build powerful search, and to be more concrete, to make any kind of data, structured and unstructured, accessible via natural language. How we do this, to say it right away, is we are authors and also contributors to some of the leading open source projects in this whole space of modern semantic information retrieval systems. We also work already with quite some paying customers, but as we're open source, we also have a quite vibrant community of companies who can also self-service themselves and bring and build their own information retrieval and search pipelines into their own products. And here on the right hand side, you see some of our partners, of course, one, the appliedAI initiative. I think as we already talked about search, I probably don't want to bother you too much about that. Maybe just hear a bit more from a technological perspective coming. Natural language processing as a discipline of machine learning. So as the discipline that, as the name says, processes language, understands language and understands text to a certain degree, made quite some big leaps. We see this because I would say the most popular search engine every one of us is probably using made a shift. It's actually quite some time ago now that we have this shift, but you might realize that it's not just this pure conventional keyword search anymore. There is also like this new modern way of what you might call neural search or NLP-based search. And one of the elements for this is actually an algorithm that was open sourced by Google. And I think it's almost 2.5 years ago, which is called BERT. And this BERT algorithm also made it to the Financial Times. So it's a quite popular thing. And I think what's even more important than this actual idea of this BERT, so this algorithm that understands somehow semantics, is that it was the inception of a new kind of natural language processing model, the so-called transformers, who really enable this Google-based search experience you just saw before. Yeah, here a bit of statistics and a bit of insight on when it was released and what it led to. It was a big leap for the whole discipline of natural language processing. And as it was open source, there was suddenly a big community around it and many opportunities to actually utilize that. I think Leon was actually quite concise on this big value of search in general, maybe to show you a bit what you can build with Haystack, what this new way of semantic neural search can bring. Think just about what you do when you search. You usually want to answer probably a particular question, right? So what people tend to do is they read through a lot of documents, they search keywords, they read through a sample, they never read the whole document base, and they will probably also interact with coworkers and try to talk to them and get some insights on a particular question, like what is the outlook for automotive? Quite generic question. All in all, this can be multiple minutes, half an hours, or even hours of work. And of course, if there would be a system that is similar to Google, also in the enterprise context or in every product you can imagine, this can also be the FAQ page of a website, it would be way easier because you could simply phrase your question, the machine or your search system would understand the question, and it would decompose the document base and could give you in a matter of seconds, just by typing in the question, maybe in different formats and different styles, it could give you the answer. And this is what you can build with Haystack, our core open source project and open source product. Here, a little bit of insight on the basic architecture. The basic idea is actually to have different building blocks that are relevant for a search system. So this means stuff like, for example, a reader. This is really this BERT or transformer model, but also maybe more mundane stuff like document stores that you use or data stores actually that you use to store full text data in, retrievers, which are maybe more lightweight algorithms. And Haystack is not just a collection of these different modules that are somehow abstracted but powerful under the hood. It's also a logic to combine them and to easily move them into production and also to easily maintain them. So you see, we follow a developer-driven approach. This means a bit different maybe than Curiosity. Also, we do not primarily target the enterprise in the way that we look at the end users. We rather look at those people who build the applications. This can be IT departments, but this can also be a developer who wants in the end to power an own app or a website or whatever with some, let's say, more exciting way of search. Yes, probably one question is, if you're open source, what do you offer around it? What you offer around it is something we call Haystack Hub. So this is a lot of complementary stuff that might make sense for many users when they think about production. So of course, we talk about machine learning still. So it's about learning, it's about creating still data, domain data, and adapt these models to certain domains and certain corpora. It's a lot about configuring models.
Wir haben ihn soeben oder wir haben soeben ihn. Wir haben ihn soeben Zugriff.
No. Model configuration. So what you saw with the pipelines to make it easier also in an enterprise context where things need to run stable and quite fast, and also a little bit of data integration, which is not so much in our focus, and also the model monitoring. And I think, as I was praising it so much, I want to show you briefly a demonstration how this can work and how this can look like. You see here now the Haystack Hub. We have some documents in there which are not Google pages, but quite some news, I think, or reports on ransomware. And we can, for example, ask something like, "What is WannaCry?" And you will see that we are not in this keyword world. We get answers. We get extracts of the passages. We see, okay, it's a threat, understood. It's a crypto ransomware type. We can ask also stuff like, how high were financial damages through WannaCry? And we get here exact figures. We might also ask something like, how many machines were affected by WannaCry? And we see 200,000 computers actually. So you really see it's semantic and understands when I talk about a machine in the context of WannaCry, I actually mean a computer or a personal computer. So all of that is possible. And this is what you see here, a quite, say, classic BERT model. It's open source. It's not trained on any specific data. It's public. And this is also a little bit the beauty of Haystack and of Haystack Hub, that we really rely on, if you want to say so, technologies that are made by multiple great brains and who were so kind to open source and share them. And we want just to make it even easier to adopt them for developers and product builders. That being said, you can always reach out to me. You can, as we are open source, reach out at GitHub, make a fork, post an issue, do a pull request, whatever, or check it out. And also on Twitter. And sorry, I forgot the LinkedIn link here, but you will probably find us via Google. Thanks.